the last case on our agenda today is 25 CUP 0206. This is a conditional use permit for a short-term rental at 4739 South 3rd Street. And Catherine is our case manager.
Catherine Gomez, Office of Planning Staff, 444 South 5th Street, Louisville, Kentucky, 40202. I just handed everybody an email I received late last week when we were all on vacation for the holidays. So just wanted to get that to you. This is for 25 CUP 0206 for short-term rental. The request is a conditional use permit to allow short-term rental of a dwelling unit that is not the primary residence of the owner. So this is in the OR2 Office Residential Zone District in the Traditional Neighborhood Form District. The request is for a duplex. The first unit has 4 bedrooms for a max of 10 guests, and the second unit has 1 bedroom for a max of 4 guests. There is off-street parking available on site, and there is no short-term rental approved by a CUP within 600 feet of the subject property. Here is an aerial of the property. On the next slide, you'll find the short-term rental property proximity map. As you can see, there are no short-term rentals within 600 feet that are approved by CUP. On the next slide, you'll find the dwelling, the subject site, the front of the property. On the next slide, you'll find residential, it looks like multifamily, south of 3rd Street. And then on the next slide, you'll find more residential north of 3rd Street. So this is adequately justified for approval. There is no 600-foot issue. It meets all applicable standards of the conditional use permit, and there's adequate off-street parking. The request today is, or the required action for today is to approve or deny the short-term rental conditional use permit. There we go. It's been a long day. Any questions for staff?
Questions?
Perfect.
So what you just handed us mentions a concern about posting of the sign.
So the sign was posted. We do have the sign posting. We take photos of the sign posting that we do. It was posted on November 14th, and there's evidence of that.
Okay.
If it blew away in the wind or if somebody else took it down, we don't have any control of that.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I had a question.
Yes.
So is this just one unit or are there multiple
two.
units? 2 units.
It's 2 units. I should have made a better photo of both entrances, but it's 2 units. One is 4 bedrooms, and then the second is 1 bedroom. So the request is for the duplex for two units.
And they're one on top of the other, not side by side.
Correct. Second and then first floor.
Okay. And this opposition alleges that there's a 3rd unit. Should the applicant answer that, or do you think?
And I did look at the photos of the quote unquote third. It's not a 3rd unit. It's not a dwelling unit. Really, it's just a basement with the potential of becoming a 3rd unit. But currently, it is not a 3rd unit. And I took note of that. And he can also testify.
Okay. Thank you. Other questions for staff? None? All right. I have 2 folks signed up to speak in support, Jacob Crowe and Angie Rogers. Are you both going to speak? Yes? All right. Jacob, we'll start with you. If you want to give us your name, address, including zip code, I'll swear you in.
Jacob Crowe, 102 Sunshine Drive, Bardstown, Kentucky, 40004.
What was that again?
Home address is 102 Sunshine Drive, Bardstown, Kentucky, 40004.
Okay. All right. If you'd raise your right hand, do you swear and affirm that the testimony you give this afternoon is the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right. Thank you. You may start.
This short-term rental has been one since 2019. I purchased it with my wife in 2023. I retired from the Army and we're trying to grab a foothold here in Louisville to be closer to family. I used a VA loan, so I was required to live on the property for over a year for a year. I lived there for 2. And then we've been given the privilege to purchase my in-laws' home as they downsized. So that's why we were moving, and we're just trying to keep in compliance to keep running this as a short-term rental. We're now with both units of the duplex.
Okay, so are you saying it was a short-term rental when you lived there?
Yes, I was a owner-occupied short-term rental while I lived there, and then I purchased it from another couple in 2023, and they were a non-owner occupied short-term rental.
Okay. But now it's not going to be owner occupied.
No, we moved, so.
Still short-term rental. Okay. All right. Any questions with his testimony?
So if you're going to be living in Bardstown, how will you manage the short term?
I have a property manager here. Actually, Angie is my property manager, so.
Okay, and she's local, and
Yes, she lives here in Louisville.
do you have other properties or?
Yes, we also, my wife and I also have a duplex over in Germantown that is a long-term rental on the bottom, and then travel nurses on the top, midterm.
Good for you.
Other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So you say it's currently being used as a short-term rental. Is that just the one dwelling unit or both units being used as a?
The plan would be for both units now that we are moved out. I have it completely blocked off now because I don't want to ruin the chance of getting this approved. So it's not accepting bookings right now, but it will be, both units will be available for booking if this is approved.
I guess, so it's a duplex, right? And so you were living in one side and then the other side, you're renting out long-term or as a short-term rental?
A short-term rental, sir.
Okay.
All right.
That's okay?
It was owner occupied. All right. We'll let Angie Rogers speak. Give us your name and address, including zip code, and I'll swear you in.
Angie Tonini Rogers, 5910 Outer Loop, Louisville, Kentucky, 40219.
If you raise your right hand, do you swear and affirm the testimony you give this afternoon is the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So I am Jake's realtor, and I also have managed up to 30 short-term rentals and midterm rentals. So I do have experience, and I'm the local point of contact here in case if anything has ever come up for him and several of my other clients who do midterm rentals or short-term rentals. I've never been called for any disturbances or compliance issues or anything like that to this particular property. This property has been used over 6 years as a short-term rental. It's been running consistently that way. Jake purchased it in 2023 as an owner-occupied short-term rental as well. And it's currently, the 2 duplexes are both furnished, the 4-bedroom, 2-bath on the first floor, and then the second floor with additional entry is the 1-bed, 1-bath. Both of them are separately metered, and so it does run as a duplex there. The basement unit, I did want to speak to the opposition on the listing when we did have it for sale. There is a basement unit, and obviously when you're trying to sell the unit in the case that he would not be able to use it as the highest and best use, which is what he purchased it for the use, we're trying to show potential for additional income because he bought it for a short-term rental furnished and bought it at a price that makes sense for that. And for a new investor coming in, if they are not able to run it as a short-term rental, we have to show that there would be potential possible income that could be used for additional income. So we show the floor plan to show that there are some spaces in the basement, but it's not an inhabitable unit. There's a kitchenette with a microwave and a sink, but there is no kitchen per se. There is a finished bathroom that mostly the cleaners that come and use, they have space that they can hang out while their laundry is being done, and a bathroom that they can use. So there is space for those workers that come to maintain the property. So that's how that unit's been used. So there is no designated third unit. And the listing does state that it's potential. And so that I just wanted to clarify that opposition there. I am in support of the short-term rental just because that's how it's been used and that's how it's been sold. And when I would like to mention too, when he first purchased it, it was zoned OR2, and at that point, it was allowable to use that property as a short-term rental, which is why the previous owners were using it that way. And he was also using one of the units that way as well. So obviously that reg changed, and that's why he is now pursuing the short-term rental cup, because he won't be able to owner occupy that and meet that regulation.
Okay, so I'm confused. Is it for sale or not currently?
It's currently listed for sale. We had it up for sale initially when he was going to be moving to the new location in order to try to meet, he wanted to be in compliance. And then we took it off the market as he decided to start to pursue the cup. We do have it back on the market just in case, just to keep interest in it in case this does not get approved and he needs to try to sell it, because it's not really financially sustainable without being able to generate that short-term rental. It doesn't really cash flow or break even really with the expenses as a long-term rental. So that's kind of why it's still up on market, just in case.
Remind me, does the CUP go with the property or with the owner?
Yeah, it runs with the property. That's why you should focus on, is the property suitable for the short-term rental
No matter who
than
owns it?
anything else, because there's nothing that binds it to the current owner.
All right, thank you.
I had a question for staff. So is this as an OR office residential zone, this is not in compliance by right? It has to be in commercial zone for this to be in compliance?
So this is a little bit of an unusual situation. We changed the rules related to OR with the last short-term rental update. So initially, OR, you were just allowed to do short-term rentals regardless of occupancy. Then we made a change that if you were in OR and you had traditional forms, certain form districts, including traditional neighborhood, then you needed the conditional use. So I'm going to assume that they're non-conforming to have one unit owner occupied and one unit non-owner occupied, but to have two non-owner, that would be an expansion of that non-conformity, and that's why they need the CUP.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions before we close the public hearing? No? All right, we will close the public hearing. And is there anyone online to talk? Okay, thank you. All right, we'll close the public hearing. Go into deliberation. Any thoughts, concerns? Anyone ready for a
Yeah,
motion?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
move to approve case number 25 CUP-0206 and base this on the staff report and analysis and the testimony we've heard today, and would also like to have, I think there are some conditions of approval on page 7 of 7, 2 conditions of approval that would be included.
All right, is there a second?
Second, Horton.
All right, we have a properly made motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Horton,
Yes.
Bozos,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.